My video for August the 2nd, which is video number 2805, is entitled One Big Scam. Nothing really changes. Sometimes I get the feeling that this experience we call human life is just one big scam, a deception so massive it boggles the imagination. While I struggle to make sense of it all, dates of promised changes come and go. Nothing really changes. Everything remains the same. From childhood, I thought I came into this world on a mission to help in the transition from the old world to the new. If that sounds like a broken record, it is. Not only the record, but the entire world seems broken to me. As months pass, it is increasingly more difficult to believe in the required shift that can move humanity into any reality that resonates with our greatest dreams. Psychopaths and demons still seem to control the mainstream news, just as they do the corporations that run virtually everything. Is God insane? Or is it just those of us who still believe in love and peace? Change is always imminent, yet it never arrives. I feel a sense of frustration. Many drink alcohol or take drugs to escape. I do neither. I pray and meditate. Still, no actual change is witnessed. Will it come in the twinkling of an eye? A surprise shift in 3D world events? Again, I'm perplexed by all of the noise that I see, even on the alternative media. And of course, some of the things that people send me are replays from mainstream media as well. But trying to figure out what's going on in the world is a real challenge. And I cannot be a Trump supporter like some of my friends as long as war is the most profitable business and Israel and the United States control such a big percentage of the world economy, and war is the most profitable business. I mean, they just had an election in Zimbabwe, and I'm not exactly sure of the official results. It's going to take a few days to get all of the results tabulated, and I imagine it'll be, another few days anyway before that's finally out there. And of course, the Zim would be becoming a viable currency based on actual assets within not just Zimbabwe itself, but the entire subcontinent of Africa that is beneath the Mediterranean and Sahara portion of the continent, so that the people, the Negro people, can be uplifted. And I don't even know if they like that word Negro anymore, but the blacks or whatever. And of course, there are many whites and people from other parts of the world that have settled into southern and central Africa. But it is still predominantly a Negro or a black continent, I would assume more so than any others. But race actually has nothing to do with it, except the human race for equality, the race for truth, the race for a settling of the score from a divine perspective that is done peacefully and with as little upheaval as far as war-like upheaval as possible. I can't see that happening as long as the same people that we call the cabal or the Illuminati continue to be empowered. And I can't see it happening as long as Israel continues to influence the United States and to influence the rest of the world through the monetary system. It's all a big scam. It's all a criminal enterprise based on withholding from us the truth of who we are and pushing up the parts and religions that would cause us to fight one another and to think that we're superior to everybody else and that we're the right ones and the others are the wrong ones. And the only way to settle this is to kill the ones that are wrong. I mean, all of this is insanity, because for those of us that can see through all the hoopla, we realize that it's all manipulated by people who want to make a profit, for whom profit and control are the prime ingredients. And that's a devilish thing, folks. That's a demonic aspiration. Control is not love. Control is not truth. It is deception. Yet we live on a planet where deception has been the rule, not the exception. Love is an aberration to those that want to dominate others. In fact, if we would all just simply love one another, they couldn't find people to fight their wars. The demons themselves don't do the fighting, I don't believe. They have to get human agreement and entrap humans in the mentality of the us against them, which creates the war of religions and the war of politics and the war of the monetary system that supports, again, like I keep saying, it supports the gain, the financial gain of those that create the wars. They get people to pay for the weapons that are used to destroy things, and then they pay for the rebuilding of the things that they destroy. Meanwhile, they are trying to force an integration of cultures where the people are incapable, because of all the deception, incapable of actually living in peace with one another. They have fomented a lot of hatred and a lot of dissension in the very soul of man itself, so that people want to seek revenge instead of being able to forgive. And I can forgive even the demons that have done this if only there is a capability of making everything right, making it based on truth, telling the truth. Without knowing the truth, there can be no real freedom. I don't care if Donald Trump is the president. I don't care if the BRICS nations are all of a sudden somehow empowered. And I really don't see the BRICS nations doing much of anything, including Russia and China. I mean, I admire Putin. I think he's the one of the most sane leaders in the world. But I can't support most of the things that go on in the world, because it's still based on the old paradigm of us versus them. And I don't want it to be us versus them. I'd like to even forgive the devil if the devil could actually be changed. This whole setup is one where we don't have a chance. We're supposedly we reincarnate again and again. But what good does it do if 99.9% of the people that reincarnate have no recollection of what they did before, what mistakes they made, and how to make recompense for the things that they've done wrong in previous lives? I mean, it just goes, it's a cycle. It goes on and on and on and on with no actual correction, with no, nothing that really brings positive results. It's still the same old dog-eat-dog world, a world that is run by absolute psychopaths. And it's time that God sees it. It's time that we see it. We need an awakening that touches us at the deepest levels of our being, whatever that is. I believe it's the soul, but whatever word you want to put on it, I do believe that we are eternal beings, but we have been greatly deceived. Thank you for listening, and namaste.